Welcome back to Rob Wells Music Talk. Today we're going to continue our series on creating music videos. And today it is a lyric video for Katie Mall that I've been working on over the past little while. We had a lot of fun making it. Again, we don't have a lot of time to make these videos. We don't want to spend weeks and weeks or even multiple days making these things. But it's quite interesting because Katie will always present a suggestion to me. Sometimes those suggestions can be easily achieved, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. This happened to be one of those times where it was a little bit more difficult because Katie's idea for her song caught up. She thought, for the lyric video, wouldn't it be cool to have clouds? You know, sort of like you're above the clouds and you can see the clouds, sort of like you're flying through the clouds and all that. So I was just thinking, what are the various different ways that we could create this quickly? First, I thought stock footage. And so I started going through all sorts of stock footage libraries and looking at all the pre-made videos that people have done throughout time of planes going through clouds and sort of like the front view out of the cockpit. We were looking for like a really sort of smooth move out of the cockpit. And I found that all of the shots with the live footage, it was very sort of like, you know, the plane was banking from one side to the other, and it wasn't really one straight move going across the sky. I just thought, well, that's not really going to work. And then I thought, well, I know a little bit of 3D software. I think I can make clouds in 3D software. So I started doing that. I got an image that looked pretty good, really, really good, really believable. And then I started to actually render that footage. We had probably about 5,000 frames to render, and it really started bogging the system down just because there was so much for the computer to calculate in rendering these clouds that each image started to be around 10 to 15 minutes in render time. So I knew that, you know, yes, we can go ahead and do this, but and render this animation. However, it's going to take forever to get it done, and we needed to get it done within a couple of days at max. I was just going crazy trying to think of all sorts of different ways that we could achieve this, and I really wanted to get this going for Katie and get her something that looked cool and believable. And then I remembered, Rob, you are the biggest nerd in the world and you love flight simulators, and you happen to own Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I don't have the latest one, which is 2024, but I do have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And I do know that if you crank up the graphic capabilities of that game, that you can get some pretty realistic looking clouds, and you can adjust those clouds however you want, and you can change the time of day, you can change the location that you are in the world, you can literally fly anywhere around the whole world, and at any elevation. You can be low to the ground, you can be up high. We were looking to do something that was no ground be visible at the bottom. We just literally wanted to be flying through clouds and have nice blue skies, maybe a sunset or a sunrise, but the majority of the shots would be just clouds and nothing else, just sky, cloud, and no ground visible down below. So that was my task. I loaded Microsoft Flight Simulator and started going to town. So I'm going to take you through that process right now of what I did. Once I had Microsoft Flight Simulator loaded, I then used another program called OBS. And OBS allows you to record your screen, basically your computer screen. It's what I'm using right now, actually, to record this that you're watching, this YouTube video. I'm using OBS, and I'm using multiple sources in which to pipe in all the different visual aspects. So I've got my camera, which is down in the corner, which has got me in there. I've got Katie's YouTube webpage on here, which I would love it if you went and checked out all of these videos that we have. We have full-blown music videos, we have lyric videos, we have YouTube shorts, all sorts of different things. But that's a really, really great place to get to hear Katie's music and to really check her out and see some live performances and see how she really sounds and the kind of music that she loves and the artist that she loves and a whole bunch of other things. But yeah, please go check out that YouTube page as well as her Instagram page, which is Katie Mall Music. You can also find her on TikTok, which I think is Katie Mall Music as well, and her website, which is katiemallofficial.com. So I'm going to take you through right now, and we're going to load up Flight Simulator on the other computer. Okay, here we are. We have the opening screen of Microsoft Flight Simulator, one of my favorite programs ever. And in this program, you can literally fly anywhere around the entire planet at any time of year or any time of day with different weather conditions, all sorts of things. So it's a great game for a big flight simulator nerd like me. But here we are. We have the globe, in which you can literally go anywhere around here, day or night, and choose any one of these dots. Here is an airport that you can fly out of, or you can just start in the middle of the sky and start flying from there. So that's kind of how I did it. I selected an area where I wouldn't find any land at all, which would be right here in the middle of the Pacific. Very, very far away. It would take at least a few hours in which to get to any land at all, especially with a little tiny plane like this one right here. And then I just set this as my departure and chose some flight conditions. So we've got weather and time right here. I can set this to be early in the morning or in the afternoon or into the evening, into the night. But let's go kind of like around 10 o'clock in the morning, right around there. And you can either choose live weather, you can choose clear skies, a few clouds, scattered clouds, broken clouds, high level clouds, overcast, all sorts of different things. Let's just go with broken clouds. There we go, world map, and then we'll go here to fly. And now that scene is loading up, everything that we've specified, so we just have to wait for that. And there's my plane. We're getting ready to fly. Looks like we're in the middle of the clouds right now. So I'm just going to get that plane a little bit higher. Okay, there we go. So now here we are flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we have the plane flying amongst the clouds. And you can see that it's kind of slow, but a nice day. We're having a nice time flying around here. Now I want to start changing some of the variables about these clouds here. Let's try and manipulate how high and how low they are. So look at that. You can do all sorts of really cool things where they're up high, they're down low. So let's kind of make this so that we are right around there, and we can start manipulating the time of day. Look at that. You can get nice sunset, sunrise, all the way over to nighttime, again going into the night sky. So let's go something like right around there, midday, nice fluffy clouds. There we go. We can change the density. We can make it so that it's very few clouds, maybe some are up high, some are down low. Let's see, now we can see, are these clouds full of rain? Are they not? Let's see, more scatter. Let's see the altitude. We can really change all sorts of things here. But let's go right around here. Now I'm also going to set up autopilot right now because as you can see, my plane is kind of moving all over the place. Let's just go into autopilot. There we go. And let's go back into the clouds and make this really, really quite nice. So we'll make these clouds up high. We'll bring these down a little bit right around there. And maybe we'll get the density a little bit more, or the coverage a little bit more. Right around there. That's great. We'll make them go a little bit lower. Cool. Okay, so now that we've got these clouds, that looks great. The last thing that we want is we don't want to see the airplane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the airplane, and I'm going to change the view so that we're looking over here at the nice clouds going by, and we still don't want to see this airplane like this. We just want to see the clouds. So let me get rid of that window, and now I'm going to zoom in. So there we have it. I've got that zoomed in nicely. I can still go in a little bit closer. Right around there, we can look up towards the horizon, and that's starting to look really, really great. It's amazing because I don't need to spend any time rendering this. I can change any of the variables right here, so we can go right here and make it daytime, or we can make it, evening time, right around there. That looks fantastic. That's great. We can change the amount of precipitation that's going on, snow, lightning, you name it, all sorts of stuff. We can change the month so that the position of the sun will be in various different places. There we go. We got May at 7:13 in the morning. Great. And now we get rid of that. And now what I did is I actually just filmed I'd say 20 minutes of this, 20 minutes of these clouds. And then I would change the camera angle, and I would start looking at out of the front of the plane as clouds were coming towards. So with that, I can zoom back out so that we see the plane. Let's go to the front window. There we are. Now let's sit up in our seat. Yep, there we go. So now I can once again zoom in, and I can just see these clouds right here like so, and record this for 20 minutes. Or I can change any of the variables here. I can change these types of clouds so that we can make it a little bit higher. There we go. It's a little bit closer. It's a little bit more dynamic. And again, we can change the time of day to change the shading on these clouds. There, that looks pretty cool. There we go. And then just record 20 minutes of this as the camera is moving forward through the clouds. So that's essentially what I did. I just recorded multiple shots, different things, and using OBS, the screen capture tool that I use, and then captured all of these images together and brought them into my favorite editing program, which is After Effects. And I'll take you there now. Okay, and here we have After Effects, my favorite program. And let's just go through all the things that I did in order to make this what it is right now. Okay, so down here on the first layer, you can see that I've brought in the music. Katie Mall, Caught Up, that's the name of the song. Here we have one of the first things that I captured on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. You'll see that the footage is moving along quite quickly, and that's because I took my footage that was moving slowly and I sped it up greatly, kind of like 10 times speed. So it's actually moving a lot faster. One thing that I like to do is I like to add bars at the top and the bottom of my video. Here comes the first one right there, and there comes the second one. And what that does is it just basically makes this footage look like it was made with a film camera. So it makes the frame just a little bit wider rather than using the full 1080p resolution. So there's shot number one that I brought in, and I basically had these shots lined up with the changes in the music. So this is the intro of the song, then we have verse 1 right here, and then when it comes to verse 2, it switches to another shot. Verse 2, there we go. So there we get a different angle where it's traveling a different way. Those are the white clouds, sort of midday. And then as we get to the chorus, boom, there we go. We're now moving forward again, and it's more like the sunset image. A little bit zoomed in. And you can see a little bit under there, you can see a little bit of the ocean that is there, sort of like a turquoise color off to the left. And then here we go, verse 2, we're in tight on sunrise with the ocean down below. You can see some of the waves down there, but it's mostly these nice, really nice fluffy clouds. And here we go, midday with a little bit of the ocean down there. We're now starting to get into the bridge. Now, one thing that I did on the bridge, which is kind of cool, is I took my footage and I did a complete 180 rotation on it. So it looks like we're under the clouds now, but really all I did is I just flipped it over. And you can see that we have a little bit of a sunrise action going on there. So it's a nice warm color that's bathing those clouds in a nice warm light. But down below, as it gets into the shadow, you can see that it gets a little bit cooler. But yeah, that's all that I did. I just literally just flipped that footage 180 degrees around just to get a different angle. And once again, I did the same thing here, just to give kind of a different look. Like you'd never really see this kind of lit this way with the clouds above you. So I just thought, why not make it a little bit different? And then here we go. We go to the end shot right in there. And again, this has all been animated to the music, so that when there's a cut in the music or when it goes to beat 1 of the bridge, the scene changes. When it goes to beat 1 of the chorus, the scene changes. Just simple edits like that. I like to time my edits to the music as much as possible. And then once I was done that, then it was a matter of creating the lyric video and putting in all of the words. So basically, here's all of the words right here, all of these little layers, and each one of these little chunks is a bit of text that's going to go over the video. So here, let me grab all these, make them visible. And yep, there we go. There says tears in my eyes. Yep. There we go. Now, one thing that I did have to do for all of these words is apply a little bit of a drop shadow in here. And you'll notice if I zoom in a little bit here, you'll see that drop shadow right in there. If I didn't put that drop shadow on these white letters, then in a lot of these shots, the words would have disappeared. So you can see right there the drop shadow, how it really helps those words pop out, especially against a shot like that. And there we go. It goes along, goes along, goes along, and then comes to the end, and boom, we're done. And we get the part at the end that says Katie Mall Music Copyright right there. Now, this adjustment layer, let's see what I did here on the adjustment layer. An adjustment layer is basically you add this in After Effects, and anything that's underneath this adjustment layer will take these effects. So it's a really, really good thing to do. Let me turn this on. Okay, so I can see that I did a couple things on that adjustment layer. First thing that I did is I adjusted the brightness and contrast. So there's without the brightness and contrast, and there it is with the brightness and contrast turned on. So a little darker. You can see the brightness has been turned down. The contrast has been raised to 73 from 0. I then added grain, film grain to this so that it had sort of a film look to it. So a nice little film grain with a Kodak Vision 200T effect added to that. I then changed a little bit of the saturation. I took some of the saturation out of the master color. So you can see if I go like here, it completely gets rid of all the color, but I just wanted to have a little bit. I can go the other way too and add way too much color, but we don't want that. Yep, there we go. So just a little bit of hue saturation, adding some grain, adding a little brightness and contrast to all of the layers that are underneath. So that includes all the text and all the Microsoft Simulator 2020 footage. It doesn't affect the audio because the audio is just not seen. It's just heard. I then added up here in the corners, up here Katie Mall, and then down here Caught Up, so that all the time during the entire song, you'll never forget what it is that you're listening to and who it is. So that's really kind of it. That's what I did to make this video happen. If we watch the whole thing back, there it is. This is what the final looks like. So I'm not going to play it with the music, just let you see the visuals. But if you'd like to hear it, please go to YouTube and go listen to this song plus many other songs that Katie has. But you can see like this is a really, really quick way in which you can find cheats for getting this stuff. I didn't have to pay for this footage. I mean, I had to pay for the game, but there's footage right there that I can use. And is it like 100% believable? It's pretty good. It's not, you know, the real thing, but it's pretty good, I think. And especially for this video, it's cool if it has kind of like a little bit of a fake effect to it. I think that's all right. You just got to think of all the different ways in which you can achieve something. You know, I know a lot of people that use miniatures, for example, to shoot cities. For example, if you go look at the making of Blade Runner 2049, all the city shots are all done with building miniature buildings, and it looks incredible when you see it. They didn't go and make a whole 3D animated version of the downtown core in Blade Runner 2049. They made these models. So there's all sorts of ways that you can cheat things to make things look great. Really, really great. It's just how much do you want to use your imagination? How much can you think of this in order to turn this stuff around really, really quickly? So I hope you've enjoyed this. Once again, please go check out Katie Mall. Her website is katiemallofficial.com. You can find her at Katie Mall Music on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of that. And yeah, enjoy this video and many others. And I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope that you will go and create your own music videos. I look forward to seeing all of your music videos. Please send them to me. Send me a link. I'd love to see them, see how you got creative and how you were able to create something with very little. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.